friends, DigiU ecosystem is here. Welcome to this meeting. My name is Alexey Ognev, CEO of the DigiU ecosystem. Today is a special interview, a special meeting. We have with us Sergey Zinenko, the founder and ideological inspirer of the DigiU.Wealth project. DigiU.Wealth is the product we launched in October 2020, which allowed our ecosystem to pay dividends in its first year of operation. And later on, it gave a significant boost to our ecosystem, to the emergence of projects like Ava. We saw DeFi's problems, we saw an opportunity to solve them, we applied all of our technological expertise, and we achieved the results that you are seeing now. Today, Sergey and I are going to talk about DigiU.Wealth product, about how it has grown during this time, and about what prospects lie ahead for all of us. Sergey, I welcome you, pass the floor to you, and I'm gonna ask some questions. Colleagues, good afternoon. I'm very happy to attend this webinar, and very happy to tell you what's going on. The first thing that comes to my mind, I remember very well. It was late September 2020, when we were sitting around discussing that something incredible was happening in the DeFi market. Some kind of revolution was coming, and there was already a lot of money to be made there, compared to conventional markets. Yes, we are making money on it. We have made sure of that, we have checked it all out and it all works. And we need to make product with which people can earn on their own too. Those decisions were made, and at the very beginning of October, we had already launched the personal account. It all started working. So, it has now been a year and a half. When we started, about $12 billion were locked up in DeFi. Now that figure, even taking into account a slight market correction, is over $200 billion. In a year and a half, that is a tremendous increase. It shows that people need what's going on in this story. What is happening here is very interesting. It's new. Yes, of course, the industry is trying to create some things. Maybe not all of them work perfectly, but in a growing market, that always happens. Then try this, this and that. In the end, it turns out that the second or third thing, for example, takes off. Not everything takes off the way people plan, but that is how the future is born. Today, we are going to tell you about what is happening. We are going to go a little bit deeper into it. We will show on our fingers how it works, and we will sum up preliminary results. Thank you, Sergey. And here is an important question, because we have a new audience joining us, and our community is growing, and meetings with you are quite rare. So let's try to start with a simple one. DigiU.Wealth. In simple terms, what this project is now, and how can you describe it so that people in our community from 182 countries will understand it? DigiU.Wealth is a fund, and any fund is a place where money is deposited and then something is done with it to earn more money. And the management company takes a part of the profit for management purposes as a commission. The rest goes to investors. Accordingly, DigiU.Wealth is now a farming fund. This means that we invest in farming. Farming is an activity in the world of decentralized finance that makes it possible to make profits for those who provide the funds. We are liquidity providers, and for projects in the decentralized world to work, for projects to run, there has to be money there. We provide that money, and we get paid for it. This is as simple as possible. I am ready to explain right now on my fingers what farming is. Let's try it. Let's take the simplest one. I'm from that generation that remembers how there were exchange offices in Russia, where you could always change dollars for rubles. What was an exchange office in 1993? Conventionally, it was a booth or some small office with several components, without which it wouldn't have worked. The first component was that there had to be a cashier to take and give out money. There had to be a security guard who made sure that nothing wrong would happen. And most importantly, such an exchange office had to have a stock of dollars and rubles, so that when a person came to the place, he could change it. If he wants to buy dollars, he gives them in rubles, and takes dollars from the stocks. If he wants to exchange the opposite, he gives dollars and takes rubles. In other words, the exchange office wouldn't work if there wasn't this supply. The simplest example of such applications that work in a decentralized world is a decentralized exchange. The role of the cashier and the role of the security guard is a function, an entity with which nothing can be done. It is a computer code. It all works on smart contracts. A smart contract is a computer code that is executed by a single computer that is inside a blockchain. There is nothing you can do with this computer code. You cannot bribe the computer or make it do anything. It does exactly what is written to do. Accordingly, the function of the guard and the function of the cashier is performed by a smart contract. Just like with the regular exchanger that was in 1995, the whole thing will work when there are assets, one of which is exchanged for another. In the decentralized world, the main assets are Bitcoin, Ether, and stablecoins. There are also a huge number of tokens and coins, but we are interested in what we make money on. For a decentralized exchanger to work, you need to have these assets there, and we are the ones who provide those assets. We don't do it for free. We do it because it's profitable for us. All the projects, all these kinds of exchanges attract those who give them money, or liquidity providers. So how do they attract them? First, by giving them the commission from the exchanges, and second, by giving them their token. That story of giving you a token for depositing funds is called farming. It is important to understand that in order for all these things to work, you necessarily need those assets on which it will operate. Nothing better has been invented so far, and it's unlikely that anything will be invented better to pay people for what they have deposited there. For example, Alexei wants to exchange Ether for a cryptocurrency dollar, USDT. He comes to that exchange, and it will be able to make that exchange for him only if it has a supply. And we, as a farming fund, provide these assets to the exchange so that Alexei or any other client can make exchanges. And firstly, we are giving the exchange commissions. And secondly, we are also paid with a token. The fact that we are paid in token is farming. Farming is, please place your liquidity with us, lock up your liquidity with us, and we will give you the commission and also the token on the top. That is, the main process that takes place in the fund is farming. We make money through farming. We get the token, sell it, and turn into other assets we were given. Bitcoins, Ethers, or stablecoins. It is as simple as that. DigiU.Wealth is a farming fund. Great! Thank you for such a detailed and quite clear answer. And I urge everyone to listen to it again very carefully. Go back and see the simplicity that Sergey talks about. Sergey, an important question. There is a kind of correction going on in the market right now. Bitcoin has fallen and so on. And our audience is asking, how do we react to Bitcoin going down? Will it affect wealth? Will it affect returns? You, as someone who is on the front line, who sees it all, who may even be predicting something, what do you think? Is there any upside? Is there a downside? What is going on right now in general? I'll probably start answering from the end. How does this affect wealth and profitability? We invest in the assets in which we have accepted. For example, you gave us Bitcoin, Ether, and USDT. These are the same assets we deposit in. Therefore, the fact that Ether has become more expensive or cheaper, that Bitcoin has risen in value or fallen in value, it doesn't matter to us. We earn so that you have more Ether, Bitcoin, or USDT. Therefore, we don't care much about the price of Bitcoin. To some extent, roughly speaking, we are influenced by how much optimism there is in the market. When Bitcoin goes sky high, everyone shouts that it's great, cool. Soon Bitcoin will be worth $500,000. Then more projects appear, and more projects try to attract liquidity providers to make those projects work. Then on average, in the market, farming revenues go up a bit. Now that Bitcoin is corrected, Ether is corrected, farming yields may go down a little bit. They don't change dramatically. If you earn 2.1% a month, or 2.4, or 1.9, it's not much of a difference. We continue to earn and continue to increase the amount of Bitcoins, Ethers, and USDT belonging to both DigiU itself and our investors' funds. So, in principle, nothing much changes. Yes, there will be a bit of a movement in yields, but the market continues to work. The number of locked funds is growing. More and more new projects are appearing. More and more venture capital is entering the sphere. To give you an example, just so you understand, in the first quarter of 2022, as much venture capital entered the cryptocurrency market as in 7 or 8 months last year. That is, the rate is twice as much. I will tell you that venture capital is money of quite smart people. If they continue to invest here, it means they see a prospect. And that perspective is there because this technology is changing and will continue to change the world. This doesn't mean that we will wake up in 6 months and everyone will be walking around with cryptocurrency and forget about paper rubles, dollars or euros. No, but finance is developing, and this development is unstoppable. As for Bitcoin and Ether corrections, markets are always like that. It doesn't happen that they only go up. In moments of some kind of super optimism, everyone shouts that Bitcoin will be worth $500,000. When it has corrected a little bit, everyone starts saying that it will go down. Neither is true. We have already shifted in terms of finance to the added money technology, and this process cannot be stopped. In other words, it will not be something that you play around with Bitcoin and then forget about it. No, it is definitely with us forever. How much it will be worth in a month or a year is hard for me to say, but I am absolutely certain that it will be a massive part of the financial system in a reasonable amount of time. So I personally, and many of my friends, we as a project, and many of you who have given us Bitcoins and Ethers to manage, believe that this will be the case. It will happen. And we will make sure you have more Bitcoins, more Ethers, and more USDT. I never urge anyone to buy anything. I urge you to look into it and to understand it. I will tell my story. I was introduced to Bitcoin in 2013. I was sitting, watching, surfing the internet and discovered this interesting thing. I even ordered a small piece of mining equipment. I ended up forgetting about it afterwards. It never arrived to me. It was too late to complain to the online shop and I gave it up. I changed my mind in 2017. I realized that this was the future and I switched. So it took me 4 years to realize and make sure that it was the right bet for this future. I'm not ready to promote it to you now. I'm just telling you how I think it's right. I think it's the right thing to get more Bitcoins and Ethers. Once again, I'm saying that a number of investors agree with this point and have given us their assets to increase them. And we are doing that. We are doing it for ourselves. We are doing it for you. And we will continue to do so for many, many years to come. In our view, this is what the future holds. If you believe in Bitcoin and Ether, believe in this technology, understand what it changes, you can slowly start buying, because these are good prices. These are the kind of advantages that are all around us now. It's not a fact that they will be around for a long time, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 months. I don't like to make these predictions, because the market is wilder than our predictions. Slowly, you can already buy up. If you are interested in returns in dollars, take stable coins, place them with us. We will make sure that there are more stable coins than you give us. And the technology itself implies that we grow fast or slow, but only upwards. And we will continue to do so. That's more than a detailed answer. Now is really the time when you can buy these promising assets, Bitcoin, Ether, at the price that many people were dreaming of a few months or a year ago. I therefore recommend that you listen to Sergey and open a deposit with DigiU.Wealth. See how it works, choose the right asset and make your first profit. Sergey, another question, another important topic. We, after returning from Dubai and having done a lot of work there, have set out to fill DigiU.Wealth with the liquidity you are talking about. Our audience also had a question that I want you to answer. Right now we have about $3 million under management. We realized that, thanks to our professional network, thanks to our audience, we estimate that we can increase this volume by 100 times to $300 million. That's a good number. And many people have this reasonable question. Can you manage that much money? How difficult is it? Is it possible? How do you estimate this amount? And how can you elaborate on this question for our audience? Let's look at the numbers I mentioned. To date, there are over $200 billion blocked in the DeFi sector. This figure was as high as 260, but due to a slight correction, this number is now smaller. Compared to that, $300 million doesn't seem like a huge amount. There are funds in our industry that deal with significantly larger figures, and they manage to show good returns on them. Certainly, if we want to place 100 times as much money, we will have to devote more attention to security issues, clarify some of our processes, and work out the placement options. But it's easy and possible. What I'm saying is that somehow the processes need to be improved, because when something grows by a factor of 100, the processes have to be different. We are in a type of business where scaling by 100 times doesn't entail increasing the complexity of processes even by 2 times. And we are grateful for that, because if you run a factory and, for example, produce 1,000 machines a day, in order to produce 100,000 machines a day, you have to increase the factory by at least 50 times. It is very difficult. It's a big task which requires huge capital and everything else. Our business is much easier to scale in this respect. Being able to manage a larger amount is exactly what we started it for, because it gives you the opportunity to earn quite a lot with relatively reasonable resources. And quite a lot not only for investors, but quite a lot for those who buy our shares and to whom we pay dividends at the expense of what Wealth earns. Wealth earns a commission. Part goes to whoever buys our shares, whoever owns the notes, and part goes to whoever provided the funds. It's quite simple. The more money under management, the higher the earnings, the more people will receive in the form of dividends. Great, I heard your answer and clearly understand that the course we have chosen to increase the amount of capital is 100% correct. It is simple, logical, and profitable for everyone. For you as our investors, it is profitable for our shareholders, and it's profitable for us as a company. And it's an interesting journey. Yes, I agree. In the process of working with the network, in the process of repackaging our wealth product, there are some changes. We are marketing the product. This webinar is just being recorded as part of a program to improve and deepen our audience's understanding of the product. A new audience is coming, and they are people who don't always have wallets. For them, wealth will be their first touch with the world of cryptocurrency. And they too have the question, how can I really make sure you are doing this? How can I verify? I cannot look at the hash of a transaction to see anything. I don't understand it at all. Maybe I can see it, but how do I read it? I don't know. How do people like that solve the trust issue? To see that it's really there, that it works that way. How to answer that question? I believe that in order to make sure that something works, the easiest option is to do it by hand. You probably all believe that there are people who make suits. Why? Probably because you can take the fabric, cut it. And if you don't make an entire suit, at least a pant leg can probably be made by anyone. And if a person has spent a long enough time in it, he can make a suit and do it quickly enough. That is why I encourage you to see how it works with hands. You have an idea and we are already starting to implement it. Something has already been filmed, just to show you how it works, how we make money. So the lesson will be quite simple. You take, let's say, $10, $50 or $100, you buy stablecoin, you put that stablecoin in PancakeSwap, which is the largest decentralized exchange on the Binance network, and watch how, once you place that money there, you earn maybe 4 or 6% annually. And you see that every block of that blockchain, every 3 seconds, the amount of your earnings increases. And probably, what do you do next? You place them, it works for 2-3 days, you take out some piece of money that you have earned. You will see that this is the point of farming. You place funds, there are exchanges going on in your funds, and you still get paid with a token to sit there, because if you are there, the whole system works steadily. I think that once you go this way, you will realize that you yourself, even without our involvement, can make substantially more money than you would do on any bank dollar deposit. I don't know how much the rate is now, maybe 2-4% now you can earn there. But here you can earn more, and it's easier. No one will ask where you got the dollars from. No one will tell you that you cannot withdraw dollars, because if you had them before the 9th of March, you could withdraw them then, but you cannot withdraw them now. No one is asking you for anything. It is just your money. We will record lessons for you, which you will be able to see and experience how to earn money. After that, you will have the question, how do we earn more? We will tell you what to read, where to dig deeper, and what to get into. For us, it's absolutely a win-win game. If you are as enthusiastic about this field as we are, and you get involved and become a professional, it will be a great pleasure to have you on our team. Come and work with us, or just communicate like professionals. Share all kinds of information and dig something together. But if you have some other things you like to do, and you have some favorite business, a favorite job, or you like to travel, and you want to make the money work, you just hand it over to us. We will earn you more from them than you can do it on your own. Why can we earn more? The difference is about the same as if I started making a suit. I would make it, but it would take me months. But a man, a tailor, who is a professional at it, would make it in 3 or 4 days, because he's done it many times. His hands remember it, his mind remembers it. He knows how to do it, can do it, and loves it. But I will be doing it for a very long time. Similarly, we have been in this for a long time. We have been in this since spring 2020. We understand how it works. We have seen it a lot. Ava was born as a result of digging deep, realizing that there are certain problems that need to be solved. We are professionals. We are deep into it. And we know how to do more. How to look for projects, how to farm in some of the tokens we have, how to make some more sophisticated strategies. These are not rocket science. It's not some kind of super smart physics. It's simple, it's something you have to get used to, understand and do. So we will show you the basics and you will see that it will work. And if 5% per year is enough for you, no problem. It will also be great, because we will inspire 1 or 1,000 or 10,000 more people to enter DeFi. We will inspire them to enter this future, to get familiar with it, because everyone who got to know it will now reap the benefits of it many years from now. Because everyone who was at the beginning of an industry went into it, and after a while became significantly richer than they were before. That is why we invite all of you on this journey. We will show you on our fingers how it works. You will see that the money is there, it is paid, it is created. And then you make a decision, either work for yourself or let those who work 24/7 with little breaks for sleep to do it. That's how it works. In fact, I completely agree with what Sergey said. Through practice, through knowledge, when you test something with your hands and dive into the industry, when you make your first 10, 30 or $100, you start to follow closely. You see the result of the work you did. and you understand in practice how it works, what the economics are, what is paid for, and so on. That is, you already look at these hashes in a completely different way. You know where it came from, where it went to, and so on. So we will present these learning lessons in the near future. And as Sergey rightly said, if you pay attention to something, if it is also related to modern technology, to an industry that is born right here and right now, then obviously with a high probability, in a few months, in a year, or in 2 years, you will become the person who has both resources and experience much more than 90% of the world population. So what Sergey said today, what we regularly talk about on our webinars, interviews, that is all the cutting edge of the knowledge that we ourselves go through and that we share with you. So everything you hear here, study it, apply it, and reap the rewards. One last thing, Sergey, that we always do at our interviews and at our webinars. Wish the audience something from yourself. Our audience loves this format and is always grateful for the wishes. You know, not long ago, a person asked me the question, "Tell me please, when was the last time you did something for the first time?" I revised that question a little bit internally, and I thought that perhaps the very essence of life and development is that we do something that we haven't done before. I think it will be a great surprise for some of you, kind of a new discovery, to get to know this decentralized world, to try it with your hands, with your fingers, to hold it for a while, to do it, then to remember how you will feel when you go to the bank, or to your broker, or to some payment system, or somewhere else. You won't have any doubts about what the future will refer to, because when something is much simpler, much easier, more convenient, faster, cheaper, and fairer, the choice is obvious. Maybe some part of you will also become an evangelist for these new technologies, telling the story with big eyes. And most interestingly, a fairly short period of time will pass when everyone will be convinced that you were right. I wish you to try something for the first time. Great, that's the best wish that's been made here. Dear friends, I thank you for being with us today and watching this interview. Sergey, thank you for this information you gave us. Thanks for revealing the product in another way. Follow the news. There will be even more interesting things to come. Take care. Thank you. All the best.